capture. Hello? Okay, now it seems to work. All right. Everybody can hear me. Is the volume correct? Hi, Kittyland89. A little low. Okay, let's see if I can fix that. See if I can fix that. I seem to always have that issue of the volume being a little low whenever I start a stream. Then trying to remember where to adjust the volume. Where do I adjust the volume? Microphone. Good. Sorry about that. Always seem to have these technical difficulties. Okay, I think I got the volume. Yeah. Can you all confirm that the volume is now at an appropriate level? Right. Hi Lectu, hi Foreteller and Chaos Bard. A lot better. Alright, thank you. I need to keep a note of where to go to adjust this volume, and I don't know why it keeps dropping. Usually it's the right volume during our meetings and things like that in Discord, but I don't know why. Through OBS, it's always just a little too low. Anyways, welcome to our April developer update, where we will be talking about all the latest developments on the Forge. Also, we're going to give you a sneak peek preview of features that are coming soon to a Forge near you. All right, so I think I'll start with this. This is our latest update. It's basically the biggest update that we've had during the last month. It's also something that we've been working on for so long. We call it the Cursed Project number 2. The first Cursed Project was our demo world, which took forever, but this, the Patreon integration, all right? So Patreon integration is our Cursed Project because it took so long to get it ready for use. We've had, you can see here, 10 packages that are currently using the Patreon integration. These are all legacy packages that used to have that before, but we're now opening up the ability to enable Patreon integration for all of our Bazaar Marketplace content creators. And we've improved the interface quite a bit to allow that enhanced capabilities. Among those improvements, you can see Patreon now has its own section in the Bazaar. And when you see a Patreon integrated package like this, you can see now exactly which tiers you're supposed to be on. Before, it used to just be subscribe, I think, or something like that. Just like a blue button that says subscribe. And then it took you to the Patreon of the creator, but you didn't have any idea which tier you were supposed to be on or how to even make it work, right? But now it's different. So you can see what creator you're supposed to be supporting, which tiers are giving you access to the content. It also gives you kind of a checklist of things to have. So did you link your Patreon account? If not, then if you click setup, it takes you just right here to the link button, which just helps the user get immediately access to whatever is needed. If you're not subscribed, it will let you go directly to subscribe. It will tell you if you're on the right tier or not. We also have added the ability to set a minimum contribution. This is to help creators who are worried about the hit and run problem of Patreon, because that's a design issue that Patreon has, where someone could potentially subscribe to someone and then unsubscribe without paying anything and get access to everything, which feels like a bug, but it's just the way that they designed it. It doesn't work very well, and it's been very frustrating to creators. So now they can set a minimum contribution, so they make sure that someone who has at least contributed for a month, for example, can have access to the content. Or, they could also say, well, you've been with me for, a month at a higher tier, or 1 year at a lower tier, then you can get access to this bundle or something like that, right? So that gives them that flexibility, which is going to be really great. So for the creators that are selling content on the marketplace, if they enable the Patreon integration, the Patreon integration feature itself is going to be exclusive to the Storyteller and World Builder tiers, as we help those who are using the Forge experience, as we call it, for the Storyteller, get access to that ease of use with the Patreon integration. And so you'll also see for those packages here, there will be another line that would say you need to be subscribed at this tier minimum, for example, which is great. So the content, you also have that information here, so the content that was already using our legacy system, we leave it available to every subscriber, even Game Master. One of the reasons, for example, with GB2A, which is like a 5 gig package, which is huge, we've added that to the Forge to allow users to access that content without using all of their assets library. Because it's such a huge package, we didn't want people to be handicapped in their quotas by using that really great package. And we'll probably be doing the same thing for other content. If there's some kind of a big package that's large, that is very popular, we'd probably also be able to enable that at Patreon integration and making it available to Game Master tier and up, not necessarily just limiting it to Storyteller. So we have that ability to decide which tier can access which package, and so which Forge tier as well as which Patreon tier. And this is great. There's also I believe the Galaxy Juice one has that. I don't think it shows it here, but it is a package that if you're subscribed to either Galaxy Compass or Galaxy Juice, I think. So you have Grape Juice. I keep making a mistake with the name. But there's basically two Patreon creators. If you subscribe to one or the other, it unlocks the content. So we have that ability as well. So if there's any kind of collaboration that happens between creators and they both give access to the content to their patrons, then they both would have access to it through the Forge. So that's also a really great feature. And so, as I said in the beginning, this was the cursed project because it took a really long time. I think a year and a half of work, basically, over a year, I think, for sure. And I think we've redone it 3 times. We've done multiple steps where we reached out to creators, we did brainstorms, we offered suggestions and designs. We got 3 different times where we had a full design and ready to implement it, and even started some of that implementation before we realized it was just not going to work, because it was such a complex system, and Patreon has so many different creators on it, and they each have different business models, right? So you can have someone with like GB2A that has one package, massive 5 gig, and you have creators like Bailey Wiki who will do one package with multiple updates every week or so, or every month or something like that, right? And then you have other creators that have 50 or 60 packages, and they release them and they don't get updates. So you have different types of uh, business models, and being able to cater to each of them was extremely difficult. In terms of monetization, so are we going to charge per package? Are we going to charge per installation? Are we going to charge per um, patron that they have, and things like that? It was extremely difficult, and in the end we kind of went with the simpler solution, and the least financially complicated as well. So it's very, very simple. You'll find, I believe you can find all the information in our forums already. Um, if you go there and then Bazaar Creator, you'll get all the information on how things are set up. Where's the Patreon integration on this one? There should be one for Patreon integration, I believe. Might have been in the Bazaar. Not sure. I am not sure. Uh, hmm. That's interesting. We'll have to check it out. But we do have documentation that they can access in their creator dashboard on how to set it up and how it works, and pricing and everything. It's all public. It's basically um, uh, sort of like $1 per package, charged in 5 package bundles, basically. That's kind of like the simplification of how we set it up, and we don't count how many users are accessing it, or there you go. Thank you, Destiny. Patreon integration for Bazaar creators. So this is from the creator dashboard. So on each of their packages, they can decide which tiers to select, and then we explain how the billing works and things like that. So this is really great. So if a creator has 1,000 users, they're still being charged that same flat fee of $5, whether it's 1,000 installations or 2 installations. It really doesn't matter. So we give that simplicity and flat fee and one single way to achieve that integration, which I think is, well, hopefully it's going to be very well received. So we've released that, I believe, a week ago or something like that. We don't have yet any content creators who have put their packages with Patreon integration, because it does take time for them to look through that and set it up. And I expect you'll start seeing more creators embracing that Patreon integration and giving you access to the content. So for the users, if you are on Game Master tier, then you can just do what you've been doing before, which is download the content from Patreon and import it into your Forge. Or if you're on a higher tier, then you'll be able to just install the content directly from the Bazaar. And if you don't want to subscribe on Patreon, you'll also be able to just buy the package with a one-time purchase. So you get that ability of choosing one-time purchase or subscribing to the Patreon creator. And if you've already subscribed, you don't need to buy it a second time on the Bazaar, which is really great for our users. So that's about it for the whole feature. I don't want to spend too long on it. I think I've already been rambling a little bit on this whole thing. But I mean, I spent 15 minutes on it. We've spent over a year working on it, so I think that's fine. Other than that, let's see. We've released just today on our adventure blog 2 blog posts. So our Stars of the VTT Galaxy, if you have not seen that before, we've done one last month with Matt Cartographer, and today we're releasing a new one with Limitron. So are you a pirate? Do you like pirates? Do you wake up every day to the sound of sloshing waves? Then content from Limitron is definitely for you. He's a really great content creator who has a passion for everything piratey. He also developed Pirate Borg, and there's a lot of really cool information in this interview that you can go through and check it out. I'm sure you're going to enjoy reading it and learning quite a bit of stuff from it. And then you can check the creator page for Limitron as well, where you'll see all of the amazing content that they have released, which is, I believe, 100% of it naval or pirate based in some way. There's lots of water for sure. So do check it out. The second blog post that we've released, which is a announcement where we talk about AI generated content. So I did mention that in our last developer update. And I did say that we have decided to ban AI generated content on the marketplace. Now, this is the public announcement that is in written form rather than Twitch video, in which we explain kind of our stance on AI, why we think we had to come to that decision, and we go through it a little bit with all the explanations. I think it's going to be a really interesting article for you to read if you are interested in such things. And yeah, that's our public announcements with regards to AI-generated content on the Bazaar. I do want to point out that this does not affect users. It's not going to impact you if you want to use AI-generated content in your games. You are still free to do so, obviously. We're not going to be policing that, of course. This is really just about content being sold on the marketplace, on the Bazaar. But yeah, it's been a fun debate to have. Fun, but also quite stressful as there's just so much information, so much content. It's moving at such an incredible pace. There's always new things every day almost that comes out with regards to the AI tools, but also with regards to the debate. Is it ethical? Is it unethical? Is it copyrightable or not? Is it derivative work? Is it transformative work? All of that. There's just so much to think about. And it's not just AI generators that create images, but also text. And so there's a lot. But I think in general, we're quite excited about the technological advances and what it will bring to the future, but we also think that this needs to be approached very carefully and regulated, and we need to be more careful about how we use these tools so that it can be done in a legal and ethical manner, and to disrupt as little as possible the livelihoods of people who depend on creating content for people, the real artists, the ones who have that creativity, yeah. So we're trying to help out by entering this debate and making such a decision. But we can't wait to see what comes next in terms of public discourse on the topic, as well as technological advancements, as things are moving pretty fast. We do also have a plan to release a more, let's say, a longer blog post about the subject that will be more in the form of a conversation with creators, where we approach both the pros and cons, and we kind of explore that discourse that is happening online right now in a different kind of format. But this post is really just about announcing the decision, right? So yeah, that's about it for our blog posts. One more thing, I want to talk about two things. Um, so I've shown you kind of what we've done in the past month, which was the Patreon integration as our biggest, update. But there's also multiple things that are happening in the background, and I want to talk to you about those. Um, so, with regards to our plans for the next updates, next couple of months at least, what you will see are mostly nothing. And let me explain that. Um, what I've decided to do, or what we've decided to do for the future of the Forge, for better stability, for better working processes, we've decided to kind of dial back a little in terms of providing new functionality and improvements to the users, because I believe honestly that the Forge is a great platform. It's awesome, it's amazing, it works, and I think most of our users are very happy with what we're offering. And we don't have that same kind of daily struggle of we need to provide new value every day, because the Forge works and it does its job greatly. But what we do need is a better structure internally, for our code, internal tools, and things like that, just to be able to do that development faster. As we are starting to, I mean, we're about 3 years old now as a company, and so we're at that stage where we're starting to see kind of that technical depth catching up to us. So I want to concentrate in the short term on improving those internal tools. For those who are more technical among you, that means implementing CI/CD pipelines, continuous delivery of the content, with linter tools and improving our build platform and things like that. So that will help us tremendously. We currently have something like 34 pull requests on our GitHub. So we have quite a bit of work that gets done, and then we're having difficulty moving fast enough on the review processes and merging, so we start having conflicts and things like that. So we want to just stop adding new stuff and looking at what we've already done and just clearing that stack, clearing those pull requests, to just finish what we've been working on before moving to something else. And I think that will be very, very beneficial long term. It will allow us to develop things much faster in the future, so you'll be able to see bug fixes or new features happening faster than it currently is. So I think that's going to be very important for the Forge as a company. So I just want to set the expectations that next monthly update we might not have as many new things to show off. And that might be for the next 2 or 3 updates, possibly, right? But after that, I think we'll be in a state where the company is much better at, if we get a new employee, it's going to be easier to onboard them. If we get new features, it's going to be easier to review them and apply them and things like that. So I'm very excited to do that. That being said, I do want to show you some of the things that we have been working on. And that's basically going to be all of our, not all, maybe 2 or 3 of our in-progress features. So let me move this here. This is my personal account. And so the first thing is, we now have language selections. So we have a few different languages that you can switch to. So for those who are not aware, we already have set up our Forge account on Weblate provided by the Foundry Hub project, which is great. But then you get to see the account, like everything just switching to a different language, but you get that little notification about the language. The translation is ongoing. So we do want, you see here, there's some missing translations, for example, right? So we do want to see more people um, going to the project here and helping translate the language fully. So Japanese, for example, is only at 1%. I believe it was 40% or something like that for French earlier, etc. So yeah, you get to select your language. That's going to help with making that translation work progress further. The second thing I want to show is our assets library. So you've seen the assets library before. You've seen it uh, like the update basically that improved our assets library UI tremendously, but there's still more to come. As an example, we have this new, if you have an empty folder, you can have this uh, new view here that tells you to drop the files in order to to upload them. You have also um, this little thing here that expands, and then you can click on it in order to hide the sidebar, which I think is going to be quite popular for people who like a full view of their assets library this way. If we switch to list view, see, it's not yet fully ready. This should be to the right here, but you can get the rename, because this was something that we noticed after release, that we lost the ability to rename files when you are in list view. So this is coming back. So that's going to make people happy with that. We have, is there, I don't know if I have that somewhere here. Let me actually just sign out from this one, and let's switch back to this account. So you get to see here. Not sure if this was the. Yeah, not sure anymore. I don't think it's the right um, account that I wanted to show you. That's unfortunate. But okay, so basically, I'll switch back to my other account. Basically, if you have any video files, you get, instead of the little video icon that we used to display before, you instead get to see a preview of that video, which would just be the first frame, I believe, which will make things much nicer. When you're navigating a big folder like this, to be able to see what each video is. So that's going to be great. We have a few other small improvements like that. If you have PDF files, now you'll see, instead of this little question mark, you'll see actual PDF icon. Same thing for 3D objects, because with the Rippers content modules, now you have also 3D support in Foundry. And now if you're moving a file, renaming a file, uploading everything, you'll get a nice progress bar that shows you exactly what's happening. And you can also cancel, if you're uploading a lot of files, you can cancel that at any time to interrupt that process. So that's really great. Let's see, we do have other upcoming features here, such as you can delete unassigned players, unassigned users, which is something that we've received a lot of feedback. People wanting that feature. They create temporary players and then forget to, they don't need them, and so they need to delete the Foundry user. So it is coming very soon. We've just gone through like 5 stages of back and forth of trying to find all the use cases and making sure that it doesn't bug out at any time with Foundry. So this is coming very soon. Apart from that, you can see your Foundry logs. This is something that we've released maybe a month or 2 ago, but now you can search and you can also filter for specific types, and I think I just froze it because it's trying to process a lot of data at once. So yeah, and you can search. Let's say started. That's not going to be an error. So yeah, you get to filter and to with a string or with a type. So that's going to be very useful as well. Hiding automatic backups in the save point. It already does that. The automatic backups is only if you enable. So, I believe you were the one who actually suggested that feature at the beginning, a long time ago. Oh, the auto saves? I think if you want that, then you can just search for manual, and then it will give you all the manual saves. That's probably the easiest way to do it. I don't think adding more to the UI is going to be very helpful because it can add confusion and it will bloat the UI. Yeah, it can be a pain, but it's I think for the uses that people will have of it, I think it's easier to just filter by manual instead of having yet another option there. But yeah, I did have something else to show, and I think that's going to be something that you'll enjoy. So this is very early on still. We're working on it, and this is part of our current work to update the user interface of the Bazaar. So this is a preview of what is to come. This doesn't work fully because I can't click on these and the install button doesn't work. But the point of it is to just kind of show the new search component as well as the filters component. And the purpose here is to really make it much, much, much easier for our users to find content they are looking for and help them, access what they need. Discover new amazing content and install, update, and all of the stuff that they need to do in an interface that is a bit easier to navigate than the current Bazaar. So as an example for our search, you'll see something like that. So you can do, for example, is from the Forge. So you get, that's our asset packs in this case. You can do is D&D Beyond. You can do give me artwork. You can do tags. You can search for all sorts of things like that. You can do give me price free, for example, or pay what you want. So you have all of the filters here. Basically, you can do the same thing from here. Search for language, English, and it's really cool. Status of the package, is it installed or not, and things of that sort. So that's really cool. You can have also tags. So this, in terms of UI, it is still very early on. So this could basically be, so let me show you here for Foundry VTT, for example, right? So you can click, okay, give me all the Foundry VTT stuff, right? And this is because we plan on having content that is not specifically Foundry VTT content, such as gift cards, D&D Beyond, obviously asset packs. Asset packs aren't D&D Beyond. Sorry, asset packs aren't Foundry VTT packages, right? They're a Forge concept. But yeah, for Foundry, it's add-on modules, game systems, worlds, and then you can look at add-ons. You can also enable the whole thing, right? And then you have your categories, which are actually, if you go to the Foundry website, let me show you here. It's these package categories, basically. So you get that same categorization from the public packages, and you can get it here. And you can select multiple, and you can see it just adds them as different tags, and it also affects the search here. So you can see category, 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 and Foundry module type. So you can, let's see. So is it something that affects chat? Chat log and messaging, as well as item sheets, right? And then you see how many packages are affected by it. And what else? Right. So basically, this kind of UI where you have multiple levels is what we want to do for this tag system. So you can imagine selecting the genre of the package. So we're talking more about marketplace content in this case, Bazaar packages that can then be categorized with different tags. So you can say, oh, I want something horror and cyberpunk that is in the forest, right? The list here is currently just a placeholder, just for us to kind of test the system. And obviously, right now, it's just a combo box, right? A drop down where you can select. But the idea is to have it be really, expendable multi-layer tree, sorry. So you can select those tags. And once you select the tags there, then it will basically be able to filter them for your packages, and you'll be able to find that content. Question in chat. So the creators will be setting the tags correct. Yes. One of the things we need to first release is the ability to for the creators to do that. Right? So they need to be able to get into a package and then set those tags. So that's why we're still working on that aspect. And once we do, they'll be able to tag all of their content. We also want to suggest to the league a update to the Manifest Plus specification where public content could just specify their own tags in the manifest file itself, so that free and public content can also have their own tags and being recognized here at the same time. And yeah, we're still working on that, but it's coming along nicely. And the first thing we want to do is basically we're doing this in a very modular way. You might have noticed it in the way that we've approached the recent updates. We have the Bazaar Creator profile, right? So if you have not seen the profile, so let's just check Limitron, for example, right? If you this is not yet out. So if you go to a content from Limitron, you see the presented by, and then see more from this creator, and then you can go to the creator's page. You see their about, you see their modules. If they have asset packs as well, there's going to be another tab for it. You can see the links to their content, etc. So this is already here. This is available right now, and this is part of our big Bazaar updates. So creators get their own creator page. So this is independent of our current Bazaar website, right? So this is why it was done this way. And then what we plan on doing, okay, let me close this stuff, is adding the search, just the search, and adding it to the page, right? Instead of removing it from this little section here and just moving it at the top here, so that you get this functionality of the search directly in the UI as it is right now. And then the filters, right? This section here, just replacing what we have right here. So then it would be kind of like a three different updates to kind of start putting different portions and improving the whole bazaar progressively that way. And then a future update will be to redesign the cards, the package cards, so you can um, see the content a bit differently, and then we'll be adding more and more progressively until we have the new design that we've been working on for quite a while now. That I believe will be really good and um, will be very popular with our users. But yeah, so this is our search, which hopefully you can basically do everything from the filters here with just the search here. And just with your keyboard. We also have presets here. Right now, this is just like installed, has update, etc. But eventually it will be different kinds of presets. So you can have, um, uh, I don't know, like it's relatively simple right now, like installed, free, has update, on sale, but we can have more complex presets where you can just select what you want and then it will fill out multiple different filters and things like that. So that's going to be really good and will make it much easier for users to just select the preset they want instead of having to go and look for it in the filters here. So yeah, this is basically where we're going with the bazaar. It's a very early sneak peek of the update that we're working on. I think it's working really great so far already. You can do things like, hey, price less than $5, and then that filters just everything less than $5. Um, and that's cool. You can do all sorts of things like that, and yeah, I just can't wait for it to be finished. Um, and that's, I believe, it for the things that I wanted to show from our upcoming update for the bazaar. Yeah, that's it. So let's switch now to our Bazaar showcase. As we usually do, during the showcase, you can enter our $20 gift card giveaway. So just make sure to type hashtag Forge, I believe, for the giveaway. Let me post that in the chat. Let me get the giveaway, manage, shout. There you go. So that's it, and I will give access now to Destiny, who will be telling us about 4 amazing packages that he wants to show on the bazaar. Let me just switch my OBS to the Discord scene. Oh, wait, I need to. Oh, yeah, I was muted. I need to unmute myself on deafen or. Can you hear me now? I can hear you. Awesome. No one can hear you? Oh, okay. Okay. Give me a second. Desktop audio. Oh, I think I know why. I believe. Can you say something?
Something.
Yes, I believe something went through. Thank you, Lectu, Chatty Chat Cat, and Cattyland for letting us know, and Destiny for noticing that people were saying that in chat. Um, Yeah, I think it's an issue with my headphones when they get disconnected. OBS kind of loses the setting to capture from it. All right, so again, welcome, Destiny. What do you have to show for us today?
Well, I've just pasted all of the packages we'll be showing off, and we'll be starting off first with the Hag Shack by the Reclusive Cartographer. Now, we get into this, and you might notice a few strange things. There appear to be 3 maps on this scene. Don't worry about that because your players will only see what they need to see. All this fun line art, all these fun labels, they won't see any of that. All they're going to see is a smooth experience of going through a building here. It's a very interesting place, real muddy, right next to a beautiful shoreline, some beautiful colored everything. And so we go along here. Oh, what's this? There's some stairs here. Let's just go up this, and then we'll go ahead and go up the stairs. Oh, hang on. And suddenly, my token is upstairs. This is a fun little module called multi-level tokens. It allows you to bring everything back and forth, automatically teleport your character back and forth, and just allow a truly dynamic exploration experience, the kind of thing you can only get in a VTT. And to be honest, the kind of thing you can only get smoothly in Foundry VTT. Uh, it's pretty
Very
cool.
true.
Look at this. Look, you're on a second floor. You're able to look out and see everything up here and find what's up here. You go back downstairs. Maybe you want to go check out this trap door. Let's go step on it. This one doesn't teleport apparently. Okay, but
You need to open the trapdoor now. Is there a way to do that?
that's a good point. Well, there's another entrance I know of, so we can just go out here. And as you can see, there's a beautiful shoreline. Gosh, I love these colors. Your players can look around and maybe try to scout out because they've heard of like a hag kidnapping people and them disappearing underneath the waves. They head over here, and apparently I broke it. However, it should teleport them down here.
Why did you break it?
I don't know. I'm pretty good at breaking modules during the Bazaar showcase. It's like a talent of mine, boss.
That's
Uh,
true.
and suddenly they're in a fun little dungeon exploring around as they get to there's these nice little water effects. They get to experience everything that the hag has been hoarding down here. And generally it's just a wonderful, great little map that the creator has put so much work into that is just honestly so worth like making an adventure out of. Uh you can get this on the Bazaar, and it's only $6.99 on the Bazaar, which is incredibly cheap for like the scale of this map and how dynamic it is and how much there is to explore. Like, look at how much you can do with this map. Like, maybe there's a hag here. Maybe it's a smuggler's den with the aid of some magic. Maybe a cult has set up shop here. It doesn't have to be a hag shack just because it's labeled a hag shack. And best of all, there's even different versions. So like maybe you want something on fire. I If your players are like mine, they probably set fire to a lot of maps. Well, if they do, this is real handy. Suddenly they've got a place on fire. Let's say that your players have left blood everywhere. That could be useful. This map could be useful too. Let's go ahead and see the massacre version. Suddenly there's smears of blood everywhere, and it goes from like a nice little beautiful swamp place
I think
to
that
a
goes well with the sort of altar in the submerged place underground.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And so, honestly, can't recommend enough. And again, only $6.99 on the Bazaar Marketplace.
awesome.
Uh, the, the
That is
next
the Hack Shack by the Reclusive Cartographer. I'm posting it in chat now for anyone interested.
the next package we're going to be showing off is the Fit for a King Magic Item Set by Arcane Affinity. They're a relative newcomer to the Bazaar, and they've come out with a few really good themed item packages. We can go ahead and scroll to the items section, and it'll be right here up at the top, Arcane Affinity. And you can see here that Fit for a King, they've released a lot of royalty themed content. A lion-hearted lantern of grace, clearly modeled after King Lionheart. There's a liquid banquet. There's a pen and inkwell of the Dark Empire, an item called Prophet's Margin, and all of this has fun little art with it. So your players get a nice thematic showcase of like the beautiful content they can use here. Here's a glass sword of beauty that gives you benefits to your charisma checks, and even more fun if your players try to use it, it breaks. You
Oh no.
can't use the sword because it's a glass sword. You can't use a glass sword; it'll break.
That's smart.
Yeah. There's also a liquid banquet, which has a very fun set of effects. I'm always a fan of more consumable potions. I love
Mhm.
consumables because they're a good way of giving stuff to your party that feels special and awesome, but can only be used once. And I would definitely recommend this content. It has some great theming. It is fit for a king magic item set by Arcane Affinity, and it's only $5.99 on the bazaar.
Awesome.
And before we move on, I want to show off a little bit. So you guys might have noticed earlier when I was moving the token around, good old Nosferatu.
Mhm.
When I drag him around, there's an automatic ruler. This is the free package I wanted to show off today. It's called Drag Ruler. It's relatively self-explanatory, and it's as simple as installing and enabling in your world. Simply put, it drags a ruler along when you place a token. Now, if I remember correctly, it also shows a ruler when you're dragging around a template, which is useful if your players deploy spiritual weapons, for instance, or other spells that have a range of movement they can be moved by, such as maybe Moonbeam for druids, right?
Mhm. That's a
It
good point.
does it automatically. I don't have to hold any buttons down. And it provides this nice little system level warning if your movement speed is going to exceed your character speed. Yellow is if your character is dashing, and red is for considered impossible movement, unless you know something your players don't, such as maybe they're under the fly spell effect, which gives you like 60 feet movement in 5e, right?
Yeah. Or
One,
you're a rogue who is double dashing.
yep. Cannot forget those finicky rogues. Uh, This this is a free module. I cannot recommend it enough, and it is compatible with a frankly dizzying number of systems with the automatic movement. I'm definitely going to look into installing this for my PF2E game. You can you and I'm going to have to see if there's a yep. You can even see that you can adjust stuff here. Uh,
Awesome. Drag Ruler, a free package
yeah,
from
anyone can
the
install.
Foundry module developer community.
Absolutely.
Manuel Fogel or Fogel. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I apologize in advance.
Looks like an umlaut, so like Vergella.
Uh,
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce that sound. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And finally, we're going to be showing off the Foundry Ready Medium City 1 package by Gabrielle Picard. Longtime VTT fans might know Gabrielle Picard. I've certainly used his maps for a long time, ever since my Roll20 days. He is a very, very long time creator, and I used his map so much when I was running a Witcher campaign. His colors are sort of bleak, dreary, and honestly kind of depressing, which actually matches very well with a medieval setting. Medieval existence was dreary, upsetting, and hard. Uh, and I like the simplicity of the colors for showing that. It's a harsh coloring, but it's also productive coloring. And best of all, thanks to the lack of a need to put on fancy effects and showcases, he can put out a lot of content. Let me go ahead and show the scenes compendium he has. Like a floor one, there's a floor two, and then he has a brewer's merchants, a guild hall, a market square with multiple floors and roofs, rows of houses, warehouses, worker rooms, with four floors, including the roofs, and you can get all of this, and you get all of these maps for only 6.99. It's perfect if you're running a city campaign and you need more maps on the fly. It's good and generic, and it's why I was such a fan of using his content in my Witcher campaign, because my players would do unexpected stuff and it was good to have maps on tap. So I would definitely recommend checking out Gabriel Picard. I'm so happy he's making Foundry Ready content now because I had always grabbed his maps off of the Battle Maps subreddit. And now I can grab it off of the Bazaar easily. Uh,
That's nice. And I see it provides both furnished and unfurnished maps for each of the variants.
yeah,
That's really
and
cool as well.
if you need to make it a nighttime map, just click the nighttime toggle in Foundry. Easy. Look at that.
Oh,
Suddenly the map takes on a whole new theme and a whole new kind of ambiance.
yeah, like that.
Yep. Anyway, that is it for my Bazaar showcase. As usual, I hope I provoked your imaginations and gave you inspiration for how you can use this content. Because in the end, these are your games, and we're just trying to make them easier for you to run and hopefully enhance them with all the cool content that our Bazaar Creator community creates. Anyway, I'll throw it
Yeah,
back to you, Caparoto.
thank you. That was great. And yeah, that's uh, that's great content. Thank you for the showcase, Destiny, and I'm sure that it has um, opened up the imagination of many of the users. Um, lots of stuff that can be done with that. I already have a few thoughts myself. All right, cool. So time for the giveaway. So a reminder for anyone who has not yet entered the giveaway to post hashtag Forge in the chat in order to be entered. Um, and I'll just give a few more seconds for any latecomers to enter the giveaway, and then we will be drawing uh, the prize winner. All right. After that, we will be going to our Q&A portion where we'll be able to discuss any of the cool stuff um, that we've showed, and if you have any questions and things like that, you can ask them. Zgrimshell, that is not how you do hashtag Forge. You are silly. For those who don't know, Zgrimshell, by his real name Zlatan, is our residence project manager. You've probably seen him a little while ago where he was doing some of the community management, a little bit of the social media, and he's now shifted his role to project management, and he has been extremely helpful, as well as Yana, who is also in the chat, who just commented, Yana to Yana to Yana. In case you don't remember her name, it's Yana. And she is our social media and community manager. And you've probably seen her interactions on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other places. All right. Enough delaying. Let's draw the winner. And that would be our dear friend Lectu. There you go. Lectu, you won. I assume you're still in chat. Yes. Whoops. Yes, of course. There you go. Well, congratulations for winning the $20 gift card, which you can use to buy, I believe, all three of the showcases that we've showed today. So congratulations on that, and we hope to see you all again next time for another chance to win a $20 gift card, but also to hear about all of the exciting developments that happens in the Forge. All right. I believe Destiny Gray will contact you, Lectu, with your $20 gift card, probably directly through Twitch. So we'll let him handle that. And now let's switch to the Q&A portion. So, any questions? What did you guys think about the upcoming update to the Bazaar? Let's see. What if there's looks amazing. Thank you, Katie. And I can't wait to have all of the plans that we have in motion just starting to coalesce into something um, complete and consistent. Thank you, Lectu, as well. Any questions? Where should I look at more information becoming a content creator for the Bazaar? I'm inspired. Ooh, awesome! We love it when people get inspired to join the creator community and produce content that helps others. All right, so let's just show you here. So if you go to basically resources and then you have guides and documentation, right? So that will take you to our forums under our documentation, and then you can click on Bazaar Creators. And that gives you all of the documentation for creators. And then you have the Getting Started as a Bazaar Creator article, which explains exactly how to become a creator. Basically, you need to have already content available so we can um, verify that. And then you join our Discord, you have a Forge account, and you email us with that information, and we'll give you the creator role, which gives you access to the creator dashboard where you can start submitting your modules, asset packs, or anything else that you create for Foundry. It's very simple and it's all very well documented. And if you need any help, anything like that, as you probably know, we have our Discord channel, Discord server, where you can ask questions and we'll be there to help you. All right. Any other questions? Nothing? We need to get Alaric to come back to Twitch, because he always had like 20 questions prepared. Are all the DOS problems behind now? DOS denial of service issues. I believe so, yeah. I believe they're all behind us. We haven't had any new DDoS issues since last time. We've also switched now every game to be behind Cloudflare, so they are protected by the Cloudflare protection system. We also have in place our own rate limiting system that can prevent DDoS on our servers that way. And so I think we're in a good state now with regards to that. We're also with the new server migration, we have a much bigger capacity that will be able to, I would say, better handle increases in usage. So hopefully that has also an effect just in case something happens. But yeah, I believe they're behind us. Obviously, there could always be someone that has, the funding to launch a huge attack. Hopefully, Cloudflare will protect against like 99% of that, but we can't really guarantee, like no website can guarantee any kind of 100% protection against those kinds of attacks. But I think we're in a good state. Yeah. Anything else, or are we good to end our dev update live stream? Oh, if I am a bit more relaxed now, I don't know. Honestly, it has been a very, very tough couple of months. I am taking it easier now because things have been stable and I want them to remain stable. Um, so I'm not touching anything. Like the server migration has been kind of paused in like 80% or 90% state. For example, the blog and the forums and one of our internal tools are still on DigitalOcean. They have not been migrated, and I'm not even touching that. Um, Simply because I don't have the energy to do it anymore, and I don't want to break anything either. So I'm taking things slowly. Um, I'm still very stressed, to be quite honest with you. I take things to heart. I don't want to disappoint people, and when things break, whether through no fault of our own or through my own mistakes, then that hits me hard. And with the issues we've had in February, after that, I was starting to make um, mistakes because I was a bit too tired. So I've just taken a step back and trying to relax. Um, I am definitely more relaxed now, but I'm not quite in the same state that I was maybe like 6 months ago. But we're getting there slowly. Mental health is really important to be taken care of, so I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself and my team um, and our service, you know. So yeah. Thank you, Artificial. Screen, that's it. First, I I don't understand people who prefer to run Foundry on their own. I I think I understand them, and I think it can be explained by something that is very simple, and it's called they haven't tried the Forge yet. It's just that. um, yeah, I I like to think that the Forge provides value on top of the Foundry experience that you simply cannot get elsewhere, and that value is worth, you know, um, everything. Um, and so when I see someone saying, "Oh, I can host for free on Oracle or with AWS or something like that," my reflex is to say, "Well, sure, but you don't get the Forge features. You don't get the ease of use. You don't get all of that stuff." Um, and if you want to do that, sure. So, but obviously, I don't push. I'm not gonna tell people, oh no, you should still remain with the Forge because uh, we provide that value. If they have tried the Forge and they don't see the value, that's it's their choice, 100%. Uh, but yeah, I think that I'm like, it's not the same thing. You're comparing oranges and apples. It's not the same thing at all. It's if you compare a $5 plan with AWS or Oracle or DigitalOcean or whatever you want to host with a $5 hosting plan with some other company, or if you're comparing with the $5 plan on the Forge, then it's not at all the same. um, an exiled god. Only wish is FTP access and continued service stability. I had to set up a local Foundry setup, frequently export my world because it seemed every time we had a session there for a month, we'd have tech issues. We don't provide FTP access. It's something that I've made a decision on very early on. The reason being that it's like it's not for my target users. Let me explain. If you are on Roll20, you don't ask for FTP access. If you use Dropbox, you don't ask for FTP access. You just use the technology that's there. And we've done a lot of work on making the assets library as well as our import and export tools work great for users. There are obviously some improvements that still remain to be seen. We have the phase 3 of our assets library that's almost done. Then we'll be doing phase 4 of that, and then we have other plans. We do want to add WebDAV support, which is kind of like FTP. At least the same FTP tools should work with WebDAV. So I do want to do that eventually. But my biggest worry is that I believe that 90% of our users, if they see a FTP icon, an FTP link, credentials, and things of that sort, they'll think that they need to understand that. They'll need to use that, or they'll basically just be confused or think that there's this additional roadblock to just ease of use. We worked really hard with the Forge to make everything just, plug and play. You open the import wizard, you click browse, select your data folder, and you've imported everything, right? And that's extremely easy. But if a new user comes in and they say, "Oh, how can I import my content?" Even if we have guides, I assume that there will be, if we had FTP support, there will be a user on Discord somewhere that will start to tell them how to use FTP. And that user does not know what FTP is. They will be wondering, why do I have to install a third-party application? And like all of that. So that's something I want to avoid at all costs. That being said, I know that synchronization of your data is a little bit difficult at the moment. With the sync module, it's not perfect, and we do want to improve that aspect. I also want to add the WebDAV support, as I said, which will be really for advanced users, and the idea is to try and find a way to make it as advanced as possible, so regular users don't think that they have to learn how to use a WebDAV client. So yeah. Yeah. For the most part, thankfully good enough. Not having FTPX was nearly a deal breaker. There's just aren't many terms. I found one with FTP, which is great, but it lacked features the Forge has. Accepted the workaround. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Did you use the sync feature of the Forge, module on your local instance? Because that was meant as a replacement, basically. Because what you would do is, you could have 20 gig of assets. You have a lot of assets, and then you click the sync, and what it does is literally sync that content with your local folder. So you've just modified 10 megabytes of assets, and you click the sync and your 20 gig just gets synchronized locally within a few seconds, right? With FTP, one of the biggest issues is that, I have 20 gig, now I have to re-download 20 gig every time I have to synchronize it, right? Because you don't know which file changed, or if there's a new file or one was deleted and things like that, right? But our sync tool allows to basically compare what's online versus what you have locally and just update files that have been updated or add new files that were uploaded. And there's also an option that says, well, this asset was modified on the server, but it was also modified locally. Now you have a conflict. What do you want to do? Do you want to overwrite it or leave the local file alone? Right? So this is all things that we have already done. It's our asset sync tool, and that's meant to replace FTP because, for getting your content locally, because we don't want users to have to basically re-download the entirety of their assets library. every time they want to do like an export, right? Um, so yeah. Uh, Let me see. I think I missed a question. Or so, like, the only complaint I can imagine is that LiveKit access is limited to the highest tier. Not complaining in that tier and on Beacons patrons. I pay twice. LiveKit access to your service. Yeah. So, like, to basically the LiveKit access is, um, I mean, LiveKit is relatively expensive. There's a lot of traffic that goes for something like that. It's expensive both in terms of bandwidth use, bandwidth. Reservation. I don't know if that's the right term, but basically it takes a chunk of what you have on the network, but also in terms of the traffic itself. And server-wise, also it is relatively costly, which is why it's for the highest tier only. Um, Initially, it wasn't even in the plans, but as it became something that was popular, back then it was Jitsi that was popular, and when Jitsi imposed a limit of 5 people in a chat, so basically it made it unusable for most games. People switched to LiveKit, but there were no public LiveKit servers, so we provided that basically for free to our world builder tier. Um, because we could, because people wanted it. But yeah, I mean, we do have 3 tiers, and we do need to provide value on each one of them. Let me see. An exiled god said, and the asset syncing works between the Forge's Foundry install and say my local server. Yes, the asset sync actually it's the same Forge module, but if you open the Forge, config from on the Forge, you won't see the asset sync button. You will only see it if you open the Forge settings from a local installation. And what it does is it synchronizes your assets library with your local server. It also has an option that tells it to update, tokens and journals and things like that that reference assets on your assets library, so they use the local files. So you can export your world, and then you just click the asset sync, and it just basically synchronizes any files that have been updated, and it changes your local world to use the local files, so it can run offline basically. So that's the whole point of that feature. So if you have not seen it already, and you're telling me that you haven't tried it yet, so I think you'll be surprised. I know it's not perfect. I know it has maybe a few bugs, and it's not as user friendly as I would hope it to be, but it certainly works, and it certainly fills in that gap of allowing you to have a local backup. Let me switch real quick here to our uh, thing here. So you have how to move your Forge content to a separate installation. Um, so export your world, and then you export your assets. And so it explains it to you. You need to run it locally, and then you just click the asset sync. And you can see here, ignores assets cache, overwrite mismatched local files, update Foundry World and compendiums to use local assets and things like that. And then you just click sync. The really cool part, and why I did it that way, is, like I said, you can have 10,000 files, but what this does is, it has a cache, and it checks local files and things like that, and it's able to very quickly say, okay, only these 2 files have changed. Let me update them without having to go through the whole thing. Yeah, it was annoying to code. We went through a few iterations of the algorithm there. It was actually implemented by Irrational when he worked for us as a consultant about 2 years ago, I believe. Um, yeah, I think it was done around April 2021. Yeah. So yeah, if we're lacking a feature like FTP, we at least try and provide an alternative to make things a little better. No problem. Thanks for asking the question. I think it was a very good question that needed to be answered. So I'm glad you were here to ask it. Let's see. That's pretty awesome. Just switching back to the Q&A. Um, I'll try to find documentation for it and see how well it works. I believe we have like three different documentations um, articles who explained that. Um, Let me actually there. This is another one that's very specifically about the assets library, how to back it up. The other one I was showing earlier was how to take your entire world out. That included, canceling your subscription, exporting your world, and all of that. And then this one is just how to back up your assets library locally. So once you have your local backup, you can do it maybe once a month or something like that, just in case you uploaded new tokens or whatever, and then you're good to go, right? All right. Hopefully that fills in your need um, for now. All right. Any other questions, or are we good? All right. I am not seeing any new questions, so I'll assume that all the questions have been asked. And we'll call it a day. So thank you all for being here, for participating in the Q&A, and for following us. And we will ask you to follow us on social media if you want to keep um, uh, being apprised of any developments, any giveaways that we might do, and things like that. We did do a giveaway very recently on Instagram, by the way, and nobody participated. The giveaway ended, and we just could not uh, pick someone at random because nobody retweeted or whatever it was that was supposed to be done on Instagram to participate to the giveaway. So do follow us on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, all of that, whatever social media you enjoy, and that's about it. We'll see you again next month, most likely with hopefully some new exciting updates. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll let Yana post all of the social media links if you're all interested. All right. Thank you, and bye bye. Have a nice day. Oh, and by the way, before I finish, actually, if something I forgot to mention, but you should go check out um, our post about our new product that we released a couple of weeks ago called the Forge 3000. This was a funny April Fool's article that we published. If you have not seen it, I had a lot of fun along with the other people in the team writing that and setting up that joke for April Fools. So yeah, that's about it. That's all for me. Enjoy and cheers.